When I first heard the keywords, I thought of car racing in an energetic space filled with neon colors. I had an image in my mind of cars racing at incredible speeds, stands filled with crowds, the sound of cheering, and so on, all things that would clearly convey a kind of intense energy in an artwork. Since the book features Korean artists, I wanted to showcase Seoul's vibe. I thought incorporating elements of typical Korean alleyways would make the artwork more relatable. To balance that, I chose bold neon colors to give a lively, fresh feel to the scene. At the same time, I didn't want the outfits to be too extravagant like those in a fashion show. Instead, I based them on more common clothing, trying to keep to my idea of police uniforms or clothing for a thief, but with daring color choices. I knew I wanted to draw at least 2 characters. My first step was figuring out their relationship and poses. I chose a back-to-back stance for them, then considered whether to portray them from above or below. This decision helped me plan the overall layout of the illustration. I pictured the female police officer as someone who grew up by the rules and learned her job by the book. On the other hand, the male thief is someone who's never really bothered with books at all. Although they may look like they have opposite personalities, I incorporated some similarities in their expressions and color schemes to create a sense of intrigue and untapped potential in their relationship. For the male character, I thought it best to portray him as ready to flee at any moment, unpredictable in where he might dash off to next. So his expression suggests he's not focused on anything in particular. The female character, dressed in her uniform and with everything going according to her plan, shows no real emotions. This is to convey that she's approaching things in a very matter-of-fact way. Instead of a bustling downtown atmosphere, I opted for a background that felt more like a gritty back alley with peeling posters and graffiti, as it seemed more fitting for platforms like Pixiv and social media. So, even the background elements in the drawing might be a bit cluttered, they make the artwork feel like it's set in a real back alley, adding to the scene's authenticity. Without them, the scene might feel a little empty. I envisioned a composition similar to a surveillance camera's viewpoint, thinking about how readers would be examining each page of the book closely, like someone analyzing surveillance footage. I decided to use a top-down view for the cover instead of a more dynamic angle. Initially, given the cop and thief dynamic, I thought about portraying a specific scenario like a chase or an arrest, but I worried that would make the illustration too story-heavy. So I settled on a more static subject, portraying the characters as if they're being watched through a surveillance camera. Considering that neon colors are naturally eye-catching, I decided to use them sparingly, choosing mainly monotone colors like white and black tones. I used neon colors mostly in focal areas. I used neon as a primary accent color for the characters. The background has many shadowed areas, so I used neon colors more extensively to achieve a balanced feel. To avoid an overload of light green from too much neon, I also used white and black, and I added pink as a contrasting color to maintain overall color harmony. When I first think up a drawing, planning out about 90% of it from the start helps me move through the drawing part more easily. For this project, even though my first sketch was really basic, I already had a clear idea of most elements I wanted to include before I started the final piece. Personally, I wanted to sneak in subtle details into the background, like flyers, potted plants, and graffiti, which could be seen as traces left by the artists featured in the book. My idea was to scatter these hidden elements throughout, so if someone looked closely at the cover, they'd notice them. That's why, when drawing each small prop in the picture, I made sure each one had a purpose and wasn't there just for no reason. I hope viewers will take the time to look closely at the various details I've included in the background, not just the characters. Like I mentioned before, when scattering elements like flyers or papers, I wanted each to be meaningful. I carefully crafted each one with thought. After enjoying the book, it might be interesting for readers to take a closer look at the cover and realize why I included certain elements. I'm thinking about doing more than just designing cool outfits or concepts for my characters. I want to really bring out their background stories and unique body shapes to show a wide range of ideas and moods. Right now, I'm comfortable with digital work, but I'd love to try different styles like painting and methods I'm not used to in order for my art to reach people in many ways. I'm also interested in experimenting with live 2D animation and 3D to add even more variety to my work. To me, art is a form of communication, sometimes even more expressive than words. A good work of art is one that successfully delivers the artist's message regardless of its detail or quality. The best art, in my opinion, is that which not only captivates the viewer but also prompts them to imagine what the artist was thinking or trying to say, their work process, and appreciate the effort involved. That is why, in the future, I want to create art that makes people think, not just because it is pretty or fancy, but because it's full of ideas and messages. I feel I've created a good work of art when I enjoy the entire process of creating it. Even if I find things I might want to improve later, if I can look back at it later and remember the fun I had, that's a sign of success for me. I always prefer works where I've poured in my full effort over those that felt just good enough. On the other hand, if I don't remember much about creating a piece, or if I rushed it, it often feels like a lost opportunity. I'm a big fan of Pixar's Ratatouille. There's a line at the end, after a critic tastes the rat's dish, that says, "Not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere." I love that. I started as someone who just loved drawing for fun, but through hard work, I've had amazing opportunities like this interview. I'm thankful for everyone who knows and supports my work. I know many people who decide to pick up the book might have their ups and downs with drawing, but I hope you all reach a day where the joy of drawing makes it all worth it. As an artist, I want to keep making art that can inspire and support others, just as I've been supported.